Well, speaking of people misusing their power, two interesting lawsuits this week. One related to Jeffrey Epstein. Eternal truth, folks. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. The one of the three eternal truths. But the Prince Andrew was sued this week in New York for his involvement with one of the minors, underage individuals. Accuses him of crimes in New York, crimes around the world, and being a knowing, complicit co-participant in the Epstein abuse of minors for various purposes conduct. So that was an interesting suit.
Civil suit, right?
Oh, yeah, civil suit. And what it is New York has passed a law basically because of Epstein. They passed a law that allows you to get past the statute of limitations as long as you sue within a certain time frame for certain if the person commits certain crimes and you bring a tort, the torts being battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress. So that suit, so Prince Andrew has now been sued in New York. So we'll see how that case goes forward.
Going to be bad because Prince Andrew, I don't care what you think about things in general, did not come off well. He did not do himself any favors in an interview that will undoubtedly come back to haunt him.
Great review by the behavior panel, everybody. Yep. You can go out there and watch the behavior panel breakdown of Prince Andrew's interview. It's great.
Oh, someone says no Hunter talk. Well, okay. Do we talk Hunter?
Well, second suit, we can get to Hunter a little bit later, but second related suit, fascinating suit, alleges that against NBC, Saturday Night Live.
Oh boy,
one of the key actors for Saturday Night Live, and it names people like Jimmy Fallon and James Gunn being implicated in certain ways. Basically, that at Saturday Night Live, certain employees of Saturday Night Live targeted minor children, teenagers, but under the age of consent, for grooming purposes, for sexual abuse at parties hosted by NBC, hosted by Saturday Night Live, where co-participants included people like Jimmy Fallon, and very weird parties apparently by James Gunn. Remember, this was a guy who initially lost his job at Disney because of his tendency to make pedo jokes. Maybe they just weren't all jokes. And Jimmy Fallon looks really bad. He's hanging out with an underage girl. They're not only inviting them, not only grooming them, they're serving them alcohol while she's talking about being a high schooler, and they still bring her drinks and still invite her to the party. See her sexually assaulted at the scene.
It's very bad. I've read not in detail, but there's only so much detail you need to read. It's first of all, what was I going to say? Horatio Sanz. Oh, it's not hashtag confession through projection. This is truth in jest, which I guess is a variation of confession through projection, where people make jokes. James Gunn, we know the jokes he made that he got in big trouble for, and we know other people, I don't need to name names, who make jokes that end up being a little too close to reality because they are inspired by reality. The entire Louis C.K., what he was accused of having done, and if anybody remembers his joke, his stand-up bit on skunks, how skunks' defense mechanism is to spray a toxic spray that scares people off. And he says, what if humans had the same one? And then he went into a male version in his mind of what could be that defense. Lo and behold, exactly what he admitted to having done in real life, lifting his tail and spraying, except not a skunk version. So these guys make jokes, and these people make jokes, and it's very easy to know when there's truth in jest. Horatio Sanz, apparently from the allegations of the lawsuit, it's not just that the allegations are serious. It's not just that the allegations implicate people who are big names. Apparently objecting in real time, saying, are you effing kidding me? This is actually going on at a party that I'm at. And it carries on as usual. It's that apparently it alleges that Horatio Sanz issued an apology, not a written, but rather apologized for his conduct later on, saying, he was going through a bad time in his life and yada, yada, yada. It looks bad. And,
one of his defense was, okay, you were 16, so that's not good, but at least it wasn't kids. That's not exactly a good defense for minor child abuse.
The defense is going to be even more misleading somewhat, because I think she was 17 when it happened, but they had been having a relationship of sorts since she was 15.
When she was 14. The grooming started when she was 14.
So some of the
actual sexually violative conduct, if you don't count a lot of other conduct that could be counted, but the conduct that was physical sexual assault directly was when she was 17.
Yeah. So you're gonna see some articles saying, yeah, 17 when it happened. The grooming process, we're gonna call it that, began, which was 14, 15, which involved images being sent by phone, which is itself already a crime, a very serious one.
Yep.
It's very serious. I hate these lawsuits because they make me sick. I hate these lawsuits because people's reflexes are to say, well, 17, you're still pretty old. Setting everything aside, laws exist for a reason. And it started well before that. But I mean, I think this is going to be something of a suit to settle quietly and quickly, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, and my guess is it may not be the last one, because what they're describing, because she describes this happening to multiple other people, and that there was conspiracies to keep quiet about it, that she was put on pressure not to talk about it happening to her friends. So it appears that from the late 90s through the mid 2000s, at least, NBC and Saturday Night Live, part of their gig was to host these after show parties. And at these after show parties, they were frequently soliciting underage girls who they would feed alcohol to and groom for activity. And some of the people who knew about it and may have been involved included people like Jimmy Kimmel and James Gunn. That, so the allegations on right now are just that they were at these parties and had reason to know what was going on and were interacting with these people. They don't know if it went further, but it raises big questions. And how is Jimmy Fallon still on the air? I mean, if this was somebody, Bill O'Reilly, in my view, was rightly canceled very quickly for doing much less work, for people that are actually of age. I mean, these are girls, is who these are. And they knew they were girls.
Yeah, no, and it is what drives me crazy. It's the people with the. Don't anyone accuse me of #confession through projection. I live as though every moment of my life will eventually be broadcast on national television. But these people who give the impression of being the friendliest, holier than thou, more kosher than the Pope is the bad mixed analogy. But Jimmy Fallon, the family man. Bill Cosby, the family man, all these people ultimately engaged, involved in, if they're not directly participating in it, definitely up to no good, despite the public persona. And it's gross and it's dirty, but it's the industry. It's gross and it's dirty. Stay the heck away from it at all costs. It makes it difficult for me to watch these movies, to listen to their voiceovers in cartoons, because I know what goes on, but I don't want to poison my children with my own rude awakening to life. But Robert, on the issue of sending pictures via your phone, what's going on with Apple saying that they're automatically going to scan your photos for potential CP and report to the authorities? Am I understanding that, or is there being some misreporting in there?
That's what they claimed. Now, I have reason to believe that a lot of that technology is already out there, but it was a shock to most people that Apple was scanning their phones, period, for what photos are privately on their phone and not shared on social media. That was a little bit of a surprise. People may not have known. Maybe that's been going on all along, but we'll put that aside for the moment. You don't have to have a Hunter Biden laptop to figure that out.